In the biggest news, Donald Penn has officially ended his holdout, returning on Wednesday. It was expected he would be back before the start of the season, and his arrival comes right on time. I'm not worried about him being out of shape or having to learn the offense. He's been training with Hall of Famers while the Raiders were in camp, and he's playing the offense that really hasn't changed much from last year. As for the money, it wouldn't surprise me if he got a bit of a pay bump. He's a tackle that made the Pro Bowl and is worth around $11 million a year, and that isn't crazy for his talents. A positive to come out of this is the depth that got built up. Marshall Newhouse got plenty of reps at left tackle, and Vidal Alexander got valuable reps at right tackle. I'm guessing Newhouse will now slide over to right tackle, but having more depth is never a bad thing. In other news of players coming back, last year's second-round pick Jihad Ward has been activated off the PUP list. He got hurt during the offseason workouts and needed foot surgery. Now, Ward needs to play catch-up. He looked horrible during his rookie season and really needs to improve. Ward has insane athleticism and talent, and he missed valuable times to step up as a football player. Despite the positive news of Mario Edwards Jr. and Eddie Vanderdoss in camp, they have yet to show up in the preseason. Generally, the biggest jump for an NFL player happens from year 1 to year 2. Ward needed to take a big step before his injury, and now must show he's the player the Raiders think he can become. If Ward can show up, he will provide an immediate upgrade. Raiders' first-round pick, Gareon Conley, is slowly making his way back onto the field. He is working with trainers on the side after practice. His physical activity has ramped up in recent weeks and looks to be closer to getting on the field. A lot is expected from him this year, and those preseason reps are valuable, especially for a rookie. With the way our secondary has looked so far in preseason games, there might be even more expectations of him early. He has all the talent in the world and can help out in pass defense right away. As we saw from the second preseason game, the secondary is in trouble, and TJ Carrie got burned multiple times against the Rams. He got put into the starting lineup after Sean Smith struggled in camp. Carrie was okay in the first game, but bad in the second game, and it was the opposite for Smith. When coaches were asked what the problem was, they cited communication and eye placement. That is true, and Carrie himself admitted to this. However, Carrie and Smith have been solid players in their career and seem to have fallen off a cliff. It could be just a bad game or a bad season, but I think there's more to it. Still, no matter what scheme the Raiders run, the secondary has to perform better than they are. This doesn't really qualify as news, but there was an interesting observation from silverandblackpride.com that I'll link in the description below. It states that the Raiders scheme by Ken Norton Jr. isn't a good fit for the Raiders with their personnel. For reference, Ken Norton Jr.'s scheme is the one from Seattle. Press at the line, then play zone cover 3, with the corners expected to cover a third of the field, with the safety covering the middle. Zone corners are expected to play back, watch the quarterback, and cover anyone who goes into their zone. That's a very basic definition of the scheme, but that isn't what the Raiders' corners do best. Reggie McKenzie comes from Green Bay, where they play mostly man-to-man, and the corners he's scouting aren't best at playing zone. Sean Smith and David Amerson are man-to-man defenders. They're long, big, and strong, and are best used with getting their hands on the receivers at the line. As you can tell from last season, the corners weren't really asked to do that too much. On top of that, Gareon Conley looks to be more of a man-to-man defender as well. Conley doesn't typically get his hands on receivers, but likes to be right up on the line of scrimmage and uses his insane athleticism to shadow his man. The defense needs to do something to solve their secondary, and I think using more man-to-man would be best. There's way too much talent in the secondary for them to be this bad. On top of all that, there wouldn't be as much communication and eye placement needed if it was man-to-man. Bottom line, the secondary is not working, and a change to man-to-man can't hurt compared to how they're playing now. In off-the-field news, Mark Davis claims the Raiders are LA's team. I have to agree with this. It was a bit surprising that the NFL didn't allow the Raiders to move to LA, but the Raiders are LA's #1 team. Have you seen the Raiders take over every time they take on the Chargers in San Diego? That will be the case again this year when they play in LA. For reference, it costs almost twice as much to get tickets for the Raiders game in LA than the Redskins one, which is the Chargers home game the week before. Imagine if the Raiders took on the Rams in LA. There's no question that LA belongs to the Raiders. The Rams and Chargers are fighting for second and third.